Good night, everybody. How about a bit of pillow talk? Now, let's see. What can we speak about tonight? Or what can I speak about tonight? Let me see. What am I going to reflect on? Okay. Um, as a mother, sometimes I made a post on Facebook today about this. Sometimes tonight we're going to talk about mothers who, instead of we trying to build our children up, instead sometimes we break them more than anybody else and anybody else ever could. No, mothers are nurturers. We are the ones who is expected to raise the children, take care of them to the best of our ability, and teach them what is right and wrong. Now there are some mothers out there. I've tried my best as a mother. I've tried. And I might not have succeeded 100%. It'll go together. I might have not succeeded 100% in what I would have liked to have achieved with my children. But thank God we all came out of everything. I wouldn't say normal, but we are here. We are living. It might not be the perfect life, but we are trusting in God for everything, every one of us. And hopefully, by the grace of God, at the end of it all, we bring another generation, a new generation into the world that is less damaged, less traumatized, less dysfunctional. Because, my God, some of us as mothers, there are some mothers who, when they have children, they try to compete with the children, especially girl children. They try to compete with the girl children. Girl children might not have had a father. The girl child father might be in her life. And because they have been through some trauma that was never dealt with, they try to pass it on to the girl child by trying to put what should I say, a blockage between the father and the child, because maybe the father might not be interested in the relationship with them, but is interested in a relationship with the child. And because they didn't have a father, they might not want the child to have a relationship with the father, thinking they're doing something good for the child, not realizing that they are passing on a generational curse onto their children. No, we need to understand that things that we have gone through in life, we need to do our best as mothers so that these things do not affect our children, whether directly or indirectly. When I say indirectly, our actions, make sure that our actions does not affect the child in any way, any negative matter. We are supposed to be with our own trauma. Our children are not supposed to be, what should I say? They should not, they're not supposed to be exposed sometimes to the type of trauma that we went through. Especially if they're not in an environment where you know for a fact they will not be exposed to that. You understand what I'm saying? If you have your children sheltered and you are protecting them from the same thing happening to them, there is no need for you to bring up your trauma to them to cause any, what should I say? Well, I'm not a professional, so I'm just stating my point of view. It should not have an impact on their lives then. Okay, so for instance, when I can speak to my children now about it because they're older. But as a child, I, as a young child, I was molested. And I was also raped twice in my life. And I would not tell my children when they were young that information. I would not sit to them like if there's a situation that arises and because of my trauma, I might be feeling that they are in danger of something like that happening. I wouldn't say to them in a way like, you better behave yourself or somebody might rape you. You understand me? Some of us need to be careful of the words that we use to our children. Young children are very impressionable, and saying these things to them will put things that they might not even have thought about. Yes, we live in a terrible and dreadful world, but that's what we are here for, to protect our children, make them aware of certain things, but not personalize it where we tell them, yes, mommy was raped and all that. No, that's not for that age. When they get old and they can understand and you can sit down and have a conversation with them at some time in their adult life. But as children, they just need to be children and grow up as children. Protect them as much as you can. Make them aware of certain things without bringing up your past into their lives. And as parents, we need to understand that we can't be telling our children negative things to pull them down and break them before they even go into school and be bullying and all of that what goes on in school. Try to break them down as well. They're getting enough of that out there. We as parents should not be adding to the hard the hard times that they will have to go through as young people, young adults, young children in school, the way that they might be bullied, the way that their friends might treat them. We should not be adding to that. And we need to understand too that sometimes simply saying something like, look at you, you're just like your father. Or you take after your grandmother, you're behaving just like your grandmother. Your grandmother spit your mouth, or your father spit your mouth. Meaning to say, as our local people, we say that to say the child is behaving just like the father or grandmother, right? When you say your father spit your mouth or your grandmother spit, the actions of the child is the child is depicting is like what the grandmother used to behave with and all of that, or the father. Anyway, we need to understand that speaking these things over our children is carrying on and passing on the generational course. A child is an individual. Yes, they might have traits of people that pass on, or people that live in surrounding around them. But it should not be, if it, especially if it's something negative, it should not be put on the child by your word song. Because word song is power. You understand? What we speak, we can speak things into being. You understand? And just speaking that on the child, you cemented it into the child, and you claiming that in the child life. You understand me? This is how generational curses are passed on from generation to generation to generation. You understand? And we need to stop that. We need to break that, nip it in the bud, and just speak life into our children. Speak life into our children. Everything that is good, we speak over them. Everything that is positive. Celebrate their excellence. Celebrate everything good that happened to them. Everything good that they do. Celebrate it. Make a big deal out of it. Let them know that they are loved. Let them know that they are beautiful. Let them know that they are wonderfully made by God, and that they are blessed. They are blessed and highly favored of God. Because imagine, we are highly favored of God. We are God's children. He made us in His image and His likeness. Do you understand how powerful that is? How amazing that is? That God decided to make us human race in His image and likeness. He didn't just throw us together and say, hey, go ahead, live your life. No, He actually took His time and created us the way He actually wanted us. This was not an afterthought. We were not an afterthought. Everything was carefully, wonderfully made, put together perfectly. It's so amazing when you think about it. And as mothers, I remember in my childhood, I remember not being told certain things, not being, I basically grew up on my own. I used to be at my grandmother lived above us, and I would just disappear all day. I would go in because we had a lot of fruit trees, and I would climb, and I would be in the fruit trees for hours. And then I would go up by my grandmother and be up there for hours, hours. Lunchtime, my mom would call me, and I would go down and eat the meat out the food, and I gone again. And that was an everyday thing from morning till evening late. And those are the memories I have. I don't have memories like being in the house, actually being inside the house. My memories are all outdoor. They are all about being outside, you know? And I remember not having, not being told certain things, like what I should be doing in school, what is expected of me in school, how I should be studying. Yes, I was, if I needed help, it was there, but to a certain extent, I just did all my stuff myself. My mom was, I don't know, I don't know. She was doing what she did as a mother, and when I remember becoming a young woman, and after that happened, meaning that I menstruated, and my mother gave me a book, And when I took, she said, "This is for you." And I remember the word she said to me, clear as day. She said to me, and these are how, and I quote, "You could go and play around with boys now, and you will see what you get." Right? And as an adult, it hit me really hard. As an adult now, because when I listen to these words now, I remember this was after I was actually molested as a child. So me being molested as a child was me actually playing around with boys to her, right? Anyway, that's another story. But I will remember she gave me a book. And when I checked the book, when I looked at the book and I checked the book, the title of the book was Attaining Manhood. Now, this is me, right? A young girl. And you're giving me a book about becoming a boy. The book actually had the different stages about a boy developing from a child to a man. So you know which page I was on in that book as a young girl. I was on the page. I was stuck on the page with the penises going from a very little penis and then going to a big penis. I was just stuck on that page in the book, and I was like, "What?" I wasn't. The thought wasn't even there to read it. I didn't. I never read it. I never read it. I just look at the pictures and just put it down. That was it. Anyway, I didn't turn out too bad. And I remember my girls, the just like because I was not told anything about becoming a young lady, what to expect, what not to expect, you know. So I was basically playing it by ear. And we can't do that. As mothers, we can't do that. We need to explain to our children, our girl children, what is going on with their bodies, what to expect, what they, what they can do and what they can't do, what they shouldn't do and why they shouldn't do it, why they shouldn't be taking part in, why they shouldn't be in touching boys and all of that, and why a boy shouldn't touch them and all of that. You see, sometimes because parents were not taught that before, I was not taught it. So I didn't know how to pass it on to my children because I was 19 when I had my first daughter, and I basically did it by I did to the process one day at a time. I was growing up with them, becoming finding myself as a woman with them while trying to be their mother. And it was one of the most difficult times. Because you see, if you have to be a new mother, and I and when I tell you I had one child who was like she was 3 years older than my second child. She was born in 1985. My second child was born in 1988. And she was 3 years old. And then right after I had my second child, before that one was walking, I had my other child. I was pregnant with my third one. So the second two grew up basically like a twin. And then 8 years after my third child, I had my last daughter. But it was a growing and learning process with my children. What I did know, I improvised. I looked at other people dealing with the children and I incorporated that into my because I was not told certain things, I was not prepared in any way. It was just, oh, like, oh, she knows, she should be able to. Yeah. But anyway, I did it. I'm here. I might not have been. I know I was not the perfect mother. I know I made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. I just thank God that my children was not. Is not. They are not criminals. They are not bad human beings. They are not in jail anyway. They are not. They survived. They made it. They're here. They are living their lives to suit themselves. They are all serving the Lord, except my son who decided to take his father's footsteps and become an alcoholic. Whole other story than that. One of these days I'll do a pillow talk on him. But what I want, what I want you to understand is basically your children, whether boys or girls, your legacy. It is they will carry on your name. They will carry on the name of your family. And they should not carry the curses with them. So cover them. Speak to them. Speak life into them. Teach them about God. Bring them up in the Word, in church, and in the Word. Teach them God's Word and how to live for God and what to do. What they should not do or what they should do. Help them to be a better person than you could ever be. We need to realize that the mistakes that we made don't necessarily have to be repeated by our children for them to learn the same lesson. Yes, I was raped and molested, but and because of that, and it was not dealt with in the way that it should have been dealt with, some of that trickled down into my family. You understand? Some of that trickled down into my family. And I have literally been praying and claiming and binding up and breaking and rebuking these causes and breaking this bondage that they have on my family. In the name of Jesus. Yes, we love our children. And we want them to do what's right. We want them to live right. We want them to turn out as perfect individuals. We don't need to sacrifice them for our happiness. Children should not suffer for the life that we actually live. Some people, because they live their life a certain way and they regret how their life ended up and they regret things that they did, they actually don't like the children because the children life is so different from them. They actually don't like their children and they cannot relate to them because they don't know how to relate to them on that level. And the children level because the children has lived a completely different life. And if that is the case, you should say thank God. They're not going down the same route that you took in your life. Thank God that they didn't end up where you ended up. You know, it's a blessing when you have a child who is not walking in your footsteps, especially footsteps that you left behind. It's filled with regrets. It's filled with a life that you should not have lived. You know? We should be so thankful that our children is not walking in our footsteps. If that is the case, learn how to pray for your children. Learn how to pray over them, pray into their lives. Ask God to cover them, to keep them. Bind up the plan of the enemy in their lives. Teach them how to pray. Teach them how to bind up. Teach them how to rebuke. Teach them how to live for God. Some we live, sometimes we regret certain things. But there is no, it makes no sense to be living a life in regret. You cannot go back and change anything. There is nothing that anybody has done in their lives back there that you can leave from here now and go back there and fix so that you will have a different outcome here. It cannot happen. It does not work like that. What you need to do is where you are today as a person, step out into what you want your life to be. It's never too late. It's not too late. It's never too late. Once you have breath in your body and life in your limbs, it's never too late to step out into who you would like to be and who you want to be and how you want to be alive. Claim your happiness before it's too late. Life is too short. Time is running away from us. Father God is coming back to judge the world. We need to get ready. I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys are trusting in God. And I hope somebody might have gotten something from this tonight. It was a little heavyish, but it can't always be light and funny and jolly and all of that, you know? Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Rest well. I don't know if you can hear, but we're getting some rain right now. I can't wait to bed down and shut my eyes and get a good night's rest. So until next pillow talk, I will see you guys. Take care and God bless you.